Having listened to Dr. Parrish and Dr. Shannon with their anecdotal comments, I thought of something that might be of interest. I grew up, I guess, in Petersburg, in Center Hill, about 3-4 blocks from here, and I really wasn't aware of the problem at the time as much as it was. I had some black friends at the Peabody guys and the Peterburg High School guys would get together on Sunday afternoon sometime, either Cameron Field or over at the field that Peabody played on. And we'd just work out and play a little touch football on Sunday afternoons just to kind of get over the beatings we took on Friday night. Well, anyway, that was just one little thing. And when I was younger, and I wish I could find this guy today. His name was James. I don't know his last name. He grew up in Blandford. He sort of accidentally came through our neighborhood one summer, Center Hill. And we would play together in the dirt. And my mother, about 1 or 2 o'clock in the afternoon, after sometimes she'd feed him lunch if he was around, and she'd give us both a nickel to go down to Pop Dawson's grocery stores on the corner of 3rd and Bank Street. And we'd get a popsicle, and my mother started calling him Popsicle because he would show up after that first day of getting a popsicle. He'd be there every day, and we'd go down together. I thanked him for coming because I get a popsicle too. So that was a lot. It was fun, but not. And then the other thing I went to, and that was in the middle 1950s to late 1950s, and then in 1954 or 56. I wasn't in college at the time at Hampton-Sydney College up in Prince Edward County, but I was there from 60 to 64, and the Prince Edward County schools were still closed. And so the county supervisors at the time decided to close the schools so they wouldn't have to integrate. So a bunch of people at Hampton-Sydney, and we were all men, so it was an all-men's college, still is, and it was only 6 miles from Farmville, though, where back in those days, Longwood was all women. So it was good odds. But there was a couple of the black churches in the area that were trying to educate some of the young children. So they asked some of us, and I volunteered with probably 40 or 50 other people, to go to the schools after our classes and after our sports seasons were over, and just go out and tutor. So that was kind of when I really figured it all out, what was going on. And it's kind of ironic that Dr. Shannon just mentioned a couple things about Alabama, Montgomery, and Rosa Parks. So I chose this book that was over there on the table. It's called Boycott Blues. It's how Rosa Parks inspired a nation. It was written by Andrea Davis Pinckney. And I'm not going to pick it up and show you all the illustrations, but I'll just give you an idea of what it kind of looks like. And y'all might want to pick it up after I read, just to take a look at the book. It's a pretty interesting little book. Make sure I start with the right page here. Yep, okay. Child, child, you have not known weary till you have walked in my shoes. You have not known low down till you have sung my song. You ever hear a dog wail? You ever hear a hound moan? Well, listen good, because here it is. Steady, slow. A story told with steps, with tired feet, with tired bones. I'm going to tell the story with my guitar. And that's not me speaking. I won't use my guitar. So you don't forget. So you know how it goes. Dog tired, that's me. This story begins with shoes. The story's all for true. This story walks and walks and walks to the blues. It was December 1, 1955, when the blues came to call. The same day Jim Crow flew in waving his bony wings. Uh-oh, bony wings and all, Jim Crow landed with a will. Yes, he did, child, yes, he did. Jim Crow was segregation, laws that said black people and white people could not mix. And on that day, it was Rosa Parks who got Jim Crow's peck, peck, peck right up close. Rosa Parks was a seamstress who worked at the Montgomery Fair department store. On that blue as blue evening, Rosa's workday ended like any other. She stepped onto the Cleveland Avenue bus and paid her dime to ride. The bus was packed tight, but Rosa spotted an empty seat 1 row behind the whites-only section. She sat down. When the bus pulled up at the Empire Theater, several white people got on. All but one of them found seats. The last was left standing. That was Jim Crow. Showed up strutting. Whenever Jim Crow got to laying down the letter of the law to stating the state of segregation, he did it with his peck, peck, peck. And on this day, Jim Crow's peck was a duet. He was letting it fly with the bus driver, who along with Jim Crow stood over Rosa and told her to give up her seat to a white man who was still standing. Even with that blue-black wing pressed at Rosa's nose, even with the bus driver's finger waving at Rosa, even with Jim Crow's peck, 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 sounding like rust on a bed spring, Rosa stayed seated. Twice the bus driver told Rosa to move. Twice she looked at him without blinking, then turned her eyes to Jim Crow. All she said was no. "You're breaking my law," Jim Crow crooned. The bus driver said he'd call the police. Rosa told him to go ahead. The police arrested Rosa and took her to jail. Rosa's friend, Edie Nixon, raised money for Rosa's bail. He got her released and told Rosa that if she were brave enough, she could stomp out Jim Crow. She could break those bony wings. She could stop Jim Crow's peck, peck, peck. She could help end segregation. Rosa agreed right away. On December 5th, 1955, the black people in town stopped riding the city buses. They were protesting the treatment Rosa had received. That night at the Holt Street Baptist Church, Martin Luther King Jr. spoke to the people of Montgomery. "Child, child, I have put my doggy tail in that church every Sunday, but I have never seen so many folks at Holt. People came from all over to hear the great Dr. King. He said that we should fight until justice runs down like a mighty stream. And fight we did. We fought a quiet fight, no slingshots, no weapons, not even spitballs. We fought with our feet. We said, if you don't, we won't. If you don't let us ride in any seat we wish, we won't ride at all. If you don't treat us fairly, we won't pay the fare. If we don't pay the fare, you won't have a bus business. And we won't let Jim Crow smack us back with his bony wings, or slow us up with his peck, peck, peck. We won't. And we stood by our word. Yes, we did. Child, child, we did." That's when our feet took to the streets, to the sidewalks, to the roads. That's when the city buses rolled and rolled. Nearly empty they rolled. That's when the boycott blues truly began. When we walked, with dog feet, with dog-tired feet, with boycott blues. 90 days passed, we kept on. 100 days gone, we stayed strong. Walked in the rain, we did. Walked day and night, we did. Walked for our fight, we did. Yes, we did. Child, we did. 120 days, 130, 150. Walked to work, we did. Walked to school, we did. Walked to church, we did. Yes, we did, child. Yes, we did. 180 days of walking. 100 degrees in the shade. Sidewalks steaming. Sweaty faces gleaming. Hot dust rising off the roads. And the buses rolled and rolled. When the blues burned so blue hot that they turned out to beat to a deep blue shade of determination, we found a way out of no way. We found other modes to get to where we needed to go. Soon, instead of only walking